Hello and welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. I'm in the exotic tropical jungle garden. You can probably see the TetraPanax and the Musa Basjoo behind me, and it's occurred to me that I haven't recently given you a guided tour of this part of my garden, nor have I got any real footage of how it looks when it's at its best, which is round about now, August time. So in this video, I'm going to give you a guided tour of my exotic tropical jungle garden, so show you some of the plants up close and personal. And there's some little hidden surprises in there which I can't wait to share with you. So let's start off down here on my left with this incredible TetraPanax T-Rex. And I just want to get in and amongst this plant just to give you some perception of the size of these incredible leaves. It's absolutely amazing, and all this is this year's growth. So there's a word of caution, a note of caution with this plant. The TetraPanax can be invasive, and some people have told me that you've got to be very wary of it. So I'm just passing on that message. Don't shoot the messenger. If you go in around the roots and disturb the soil, it can shoot out runners. Now you might think that's a great thing because they're not inexpensive, these plants. I think they're about 50 quid even for a small one, so you'd think that having pups or babies is a good thing. But this thing can send out runners some distance and shoot up a pup. There's a baby TetraPanax right there, so be wary. But if you can tolerate the idea of them being slightly invasive, they are an incredible plant to have in your jungle garden. For me, the jungle garden is all about having large leaves, and look at the size of these. They're amazing. I think that's probably 18 inches across, and they emerge from a trunk down here in the centre. And when they do come out, they've got this kind of strange glaucous yellowy colour, like a powdery colour down there, and then you can see several leaves at several different stages of development. That yellow goes to a kind of a lime green colour, and then it turns fully green, and then the leaves just continue to grow and grow. So that is TetraPanax. Up at the top there, Musa Basjoo, the hardy green banana, or the hardy Japanese green banana. Now I did manage to rescue the trunks on these by protecting them through the winter. They say the bigger they get, the hardier they become, but I will always protect these because I just don't want to lose that height. And in the base of that, down there, we have some pups, once again some babies coming out. I'm told that once the Musa Basjoo flowers, it means the start or the beginning of the end of the plant. It's about to die. But mine haven't flowered yet. I suppose it's inevitable that one day they will. Whilst we're down here at the base of this banana plant, I just want to show you the result of an experiment I carried out, which was to buy some taro bulbs from an Asian supermarket, and I'm struggling to get down to them, but they are down there. Let me see if I can reach them with the camera. Down there, and you see that is a colocasia that I grew from a bulb which I bought from an Asian supermarket, and there is another one down here somewhere if I can reach down and find it. Again, it's difficult sometimes to find these plants, but there they are. There it is, I should say. Look at it down there, look. Look at the way the globule of water is sitting on the leaf. That is because the leaves are hydrophobic. It's the way they've evolved that stops them from rotting in the damp. Anyway, so there we go, 2 taro bulbs which were bought from an Asian supermarket, which have grown into plants. Now here's one of the little surprises that I wanted to tell you about. My Crinium has flowered, Crinium Pathwilii. Lovely, isn't that a beautiful thing there, look. Just a splash of colour hidden down in the depths of this little border there. You don't notice these things until you kind of sort of peep in and have a look, and there it is. And what I really like about the colour scheme here is we've got this chocolate purple canna, we've got the Persicaria Red Dragon, and we've got lovely Crinium flower there, exquisite. But then we've also got the Colocasia pink china with its pink stem, so we've got a kind of a pinky purpley collection there. Isn't that wonderful? There's that mirror I put in. You'll see me in a moment because I will be revealed in the mirror. Can you see me there? I shall wave at the camera. That's the garden mirror I put in. It looks like a window. It was controversial at the time because several people said they're not good for birds, but I've not had a problem with birds. We've not had any bird strike. At the back here I have Canna Musa folia. This is a canna which is great for foliage. This is one of the few cannas that didn't get hit by virus. I removed a massive amount of cannas from my garden that had virus, but this one managed to survive. But look at that. Big leaves again for the jungle garden, almost as big as a banana, and I'm going to show you one of my new bananas in a moment. So, TetraPanax Rex, Canna Musa folia, Musa Basjoo banana, Colocasia pink china. Again, leaves dotted around there. Can you see this lovely kind of a heart-shaped leaf? The pink china has the pink stem, and it's quite hardy actually. Now that pink china there, and there are a collection, I think I counted them the other day, I think there were 12, because there's about 5 there and about 5 there, and we'll come to them in a moment, but there are some more down here. These have all come from one plant. That gives you a good idea of that pink stem. Look at that. Hardy. Leave them in the ground, cut the leaves off in the winter, cover them in a mulch, and they grow back. And not only do they grow back, they propagate themselves. Right, down here, tucked away, in and amongst the foliage, is a ginger. Another little surprise for us there. That is in the process of flowering. Isn't that wonderful? Now, I mentioned the Persicaria over there. This is also Persicaria. It's the same plant, Persicaria Red Dragon. Another quite invasive plant. This is really a bit of a thug. It's coming out and pushing its way forward. I don't mind that. I love the colour. I love the shape of these leaves. They're like arrowheads. And I love the fact that it's fast growing because it fills a gap. But once again, be careful. It's actually related to Japanese knotweed. And it's completely crowding out my Fatsia Japonica. Something wrong with this Fatsia. I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to have to do some research. But you can see the leaves here are a little bit deformed. Strange that. Fatsia Japonica. That's there because it's evergreen and it gives evergreen structure. We have another ginger here. There's a different type of ginger to the one that I showed you down there. I think that one's Himalayan, I'm not sure. Or this one might be Himalayan, but you can see this is quite tall. I've had to stake this. I've had to go and take some branches off my apple tree and create stakes, but what's interesting about these stakes is the fact that they've all rooted. I've done this several times. There's one there, and there are some down here around this Eucomis. And they've produced leaves at the top. They've rooted. They've started to grow. They can't stay here. Don't want apple trees in this border, so they will be coming out. This is a Foxtail Lilly, which we've missed unfortunately. I failed to get to it in time. But that had a beautiful foxtail of a flower on it. Foxtail by name, foxtail by nature. But look at this, it's got these little seeds on it. Oh, look at that spider there. Can you see that spider on the thing? We shall try and leave him in peace. I've got these little seed heads, and I'm wondering if I can germinate or propagate those. They were all the way down here originally. There's some more pink china. Quite an invasive plant, in actual fact. In my experience, it's doing a great job of propagating itself all the way along this border. This is where I took a big clump of Canna Musa folia away. It was virused and it filled that space, and I've removed it and I've replaced it with Ventricosum and Sete Morillii, which is basically the red banana plant. It's not hardy, but it's a great filler. It will grow quite quickly, and I've just noticed I've got quite a lot of green fly on that leaf there. I might get some washing up liquid on that, because that will be weakening the plant. But these, whilst they're not hardy, will grow up possibly 10 or 15 feet tall. And my approach to this in the winter time will be to dig that up. I've got two. There's one there, and there's another one down here. And my approach will be to dig those up and dry them out for the winter. You can propagate those by slicing vertically through the trunk. Down here at the trunk, you remove the leaves, and then you quadrants, or take the trunk like a leek into 4 quadrants, and then plant each one, and they can sprout, so you can end up with 4 plants for the price of 1. I won't be doing that with these. My objective with these is to keep them for 2 or 3 winters, 2 or 3 seasons, and eventually we'll have a nice big splash of red. Now then, let's not forget to visit the passion flower. Aren't they beautiful? I did a video on these. The Catholic religion, I think, or the Christian religion, has kind of taken this on board as a kind of a plant which there's a description of it. All the different parts of the flower are supposed to be to do with the passion of Christ. You know, the stamens are the nails, and the leaves are the wounds. This is the crown of thorns. Interesting story, but isn't it a beautiful plant? Now, I know that some of you have told me that this is quite invasive, and I agree, it has, because it's one trunk, it comes from one stem down there. It's covered this wall, but crikey, isn't that beautiful? I love it. Look at these blooms that we've got to enjoy. They're like hops. Look like hops on a vine. There's dozens and dozens of them, and the trick with this is to keep that completely hydrated. And what happens is it's kind of opening 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 every week or so, and so it's like a slow release of flowers. So I'm enjoying that throughout the summertime. Look there, my little green man face. Isn't that lovely there? Look, hidden down in the foliage, peeping out. I've got 3 of those. There's a green man there. This is a pan face. Can you see there? I like the way they just kind of peep out. You almost don't see them at first. And then over here at the far end is another green man. Gives it that kind of gothic vibe. Be careful with these passion flowers, by the way, because they have these tendrils and they just get hold of everything, you know. They just reach out and almost strangulate anything that they touch. So keep an eye on it and keep it pruned. Right, this down here is Eucomis Bi-colour pineapple lily. It's called bicolour because it has 2 different colours of leaves. These kind of a chocolatey brown coloured leaf, and then the green leaf. And I'm hoping that we will get the pineapple lily bloom from the centre of that. It will look a bit like the foxtail lily that I spoke about a moment ago. And I'm hoping it will come from down there in the centre. There is the spike of something going on down there. So I'm hoping with a bit more heat and a slightly extended summer, we might get a blossom on that. Wonderful. Quite dense, quite folate, is that the right word? Densely packed with foliage. I love it. I love the whole look and feel of the exotic tropical jungle border. And it leads quite nicely into my fernery. I'll give you a quick look around the fernery while we're here. Starts there with that tree fern, and then we move into the fernery, which is, whereas this is exposed to quite a lot of light, that's west, and towards me is south. It gets quite a lot of light and heat on those walls. Around here at the back of the cottage, it's quite shady and cool, so I've decided to make a fern garden in here. Big plants like tree ferns give the main structure, and then down at the roots or the base of those tree ferns we've got varieties of other ferns and hostas and arum lilies. There's another crinium. Interestingly, that crinium hasn't flowered like the one that I showed you over there, and I feel it's simply because it just doesn't get as much light. Look at the size of the leaves on these hostas. Massive. And these are Jurassic Park and Empress Wu, large hostas which are supposed to be slug and snail resistant, and it does appear to be the case because the leaves are in very good condition. We also have shuttlecock ferns in here. There's one, and they're springing up again. Another plant which can be invasive if you leave it up to its own devices. And then my small windy path here, I planted 20 plugs of mind your own business, about the size of, let's say, a saucer from a cup and saucer. And that is another example of an invasive plant under the right circumstances. It evidently likes cool, shady, damp, but it's completely taken over. Now this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to take over, but you have to be aware of the fact that it will do if you're going to use it. Look at that lovely carpet there, and then there's a stepping stone that comes out of my dining room. I've just done a tablescape in there, which I'll show you in a moment. An arum lily in a pot. Down at the back we have a hart's tongue fern. There's a little Buddha head down there which peeps out down there. Wonderful. And what I like about the tree ferns is the fact that I've got several different heights, so you can look down into them, or you can look at the trunks of them, or you can look underneath and see the underneath of the canopy. Wonderful. Very, very pleased with this, the way it turned out, considering that this was, when I moved in 2 years ago, a concrete slab that was. This was a bed covered in gravel, and there were two huge conifers here, and that was it. So we've had quite a transformation in this part of the garden. Let me just quickly show you that tablescape. I'm about to do a video on how I did this tablescape, but if you don't know what a tablescape is, it's basically a flower arrangement up the centre of your dining table, and that's mine there. It's a tin pot tablescape because it's made out of tins. These are tins of beans, and these are lavenders and rosemaries out of the garden. Right, let me come back on camera and say goodbye. So there we are, an update and a guided tour on the exotic tropical jungle border and the fernery and the tablescape. So 3 for the price of 1. I wanted to say thank you for your patience and understanding recently when I published my product videos. I published 8 within the space of about 5 minutes. They were short videos, 2 minutes long, and they weren't review videos. They were very specifically and deliberately product videos. They were to direct people and signpost my Amazon storefront, basically to try and make the YouTube channel more sustainable. So thank you for tolerating those. They're out there now, and hopefully people will drift through to my Amazon storefront and buy some products. I'll see you soon for some more exotic, tropical, jungle garden adventures. Bye for now.